All right, we back again for the series that everybody been waiting to see. Another episode of it's the Fantasy Draft League. So back again with Jay and Mike. We're gonna hop into this. Seems like the content on this channel lately has been a little more popular than my other channel, and a lot of people like sports. A lot of people like 2K content, basketball stuff. So, and I think the series overall has been, fun and exciting to play for me personally, but also I think for a lot of people watching, because we've been getting a lot of views, like I said, compared to my other channel. And don't tell me we got content to download. But yeah, we've been getting a lot of views, and then also a lot of likes as well on the videos and stuff. So again, I tend to get more likes on 2K videos than I get views on my other channel on average. The average views. So I'm probably gonna have to just edit this whole thing out because
Jesus, man,
it's looking like it's gonna take a minute. Why does this always happen when we get ready to play?
it was just an update again. The new season dropped.
It just dropped?
Yeah.
Seriously? All right. So while we're waiting on the progress for this to download, we're gonna do like a little mini podcast. And basically, I just want to get Jay's thoughts on some of the podcast content that we've talked about so far. So I'm old school. I was like a little kid watching Jordan when he played in the 3 championships that was in his like second three-peat when he came back after retirement. I remember the hype behind Jordan was like unreal. Like people was like going crazy for Michael Jordan. He was not only like the best player of that time period, but he was also a player that was like just super popular. Like if you could imagine the most popular players today, your Steph Curry, your Ja Morant, and whatever people who really like LeBron. Like if you was to wrap all those like the most hype players in one, that was like Jordan at that time period. I'm telling you, man, people love Jordan. There was some other players that was pretty good, and people that was loyal fans of certain teams.
In that time, Jordan. I mean, everyone called him Black Jesus.
Yeah, and I mean, he was still in the midst of playing. It'd be like calling Ja Morant, Jesus' son or something. I don't know, but anyway, and so yeah, I remember like being a little kid watching the '98 finals when the Chicago Bulls was playing the Utah Jazz. I remember like sitting in the living room watching that, and then of course. That season was awesome. His second three-peat, his 6th championship. Jordan just seemed unstoppable, unreal, unbelievable. And then he retires again. And then he was gone for a while. And then when he came back with the Wizards as a kid, I was so happy. I was geeked out. Like happy how you was about like ninjas and anime and Steph Curry. I don't know. Like stuff like that, right? Like as a kid, I was like geeked out when Jordan came back with the Wizards. Of course, he wasn't the same anymore. At least not the Bulls level, and he didn't have the same team around him, so he didn't make it back to a championship. But I still felt like Jordan was like the best player of that time period. And then shortly thereafter, every player that came along was compared to Jordan. Kobe, T-Mac, Vince Carter, you know what I'm saying? And then LeBron.
So what are you trying to say?
Huh?
So what are you trying to say?
I'm saying that influences my decision. You weren't there to see all of that, because all of that you wasn't born when that was happening.
Right.
So when you came on the scene, explain to me your experience of like learning about basketball and what made you like certain players and certain teams.
I mean, there really for the GOAT debate. I don't think there really is an explanation. Like LeBron is the best of this time. Jordan was the best of that time. Jordan competition wasn't as hard as LeBron competition is today, and that's a simple fact.
I might agree with you.
I will, and LeBron is a better player physically, and I believe he has better IQ. Therefore, I will always have him over Jordan. Jordan has a good mentality, and he was good way good for what he was back then, but that's all it was back then. The competition today is harder, so I'm gonna give it to LeBron, obviously. But for basketball, I mean, it's just been something that's been there like 2K games. So if I was gonna play basketball, I was gonna play Stephen Curry because he was the most prevalent shooter from beyond the 3 point line. He was small, agile, and he was always like shooting the ball. So he always got my attention.
I do think Curry has had a little more impact in the way the game is played
Oh yeah,
than
he's
LeBron
he's
James.
the most influential player I think ever.
And you could probably argue more than like a ton of other players,
Of course,
more than Jordan.
he's changed the game.
Yeah, he might be the most impactful player in today's game than anybody really.
Yeah, just too good.
Um,
I like him.
it don't look like it. But next question for you. So I feel like you did a good job answering the GOAT, and that's a strong argument. It's hard to argue against that very thing. So it's like when you look at LeBron as a player, it's hard not to say that he's a better player. But the next thing, so part two, I gave my playoff predictions. I broke down every little bit of the playoffs, going all the way up to the finals, and who I think would be in the finals and who would win. I don't know if you've seen the pod yet, but before I say mine, what's your prediction? What teams do you think is gonna make the finals? And if you could think of that, what team do you think would win it?
Well, I have the Celtics, the Cavaliers, the OKC, and I don't have a fourth one yet. Maybe like I don't know.
Think the Mavericks?
Probably. I was thinking about that, but
You think they could make it back? They made it last year.
probably I could see it, but I don't really see them winning.
They also beat out OKC, and OKC was a 1 seed last year in the regular season. The Mavericks were a 5th seed, but it didn't matter for the Mavericks because they beat OKC and made their way into the finals. They beat the Timberwolves,
Yeah, lost.
and the Timberwolves beat the Nuggets, who were favored to go back.
The Nuggets. That's what's gonna go.
Nuggets, okay.
But they're such a bad team. It's just Jokic. Without Jokic on the court, they are literally the worst in every stat category there is in the NBA. They're placing 30 to 28th, and that's their average. Jokic, they make him number one.
He very much carries.
He
that
makes
team.
them number like 1 through 3 out of every stat. So without Jokic, they're literally nothing.
Mm.
They crumble.
Mm.
I saw another thing where it said face of the NBA with Jason Tatum on the thumbnail from when we was just looking through your videos.
Okay. Yeah.
And I don't see that. I see SGA being more of the face of the NBA than
Really?
Jason Tatum.
Okay.
But
Well, SGA, in my opinion, he at least got to get to the finals.
I mean, he could get that.
If okay, that's going crazy upstairs. But yeah, if SGA get beat out by the Nuggets, the Mavericks,
Trust me,
the Timberwolves, like
he ain't gonna get beat out this year.
you think doing it
I
now?
think he got it this year.
Now I predict that if the Mavericks and the Thunder, if they were to match up again this time around, even though the Mavericks beat them last year, and I do think they've made a little better improvement as a team by adding Klay Thompson. Kyrie and Luka are both very unstoppable. Could easily put up 30, 40 points apiece. I still think Klay got something to take. I think that team, even though they'd be a tough matchup, I think OKC would beat them this time around.
The way Shea runs his offense, he has control over his team. He has complete control over his team. The way Shea runs his offense is the way he wants it to be run. So he's winning his games. He's going on win streaks, and he's solving the problems that are ahead of him by adjusting his offense or adjusting the defense. He's doing his own thing.
But this is the way I look at OKC. I look at OKC similar to the way you were describing the Nuggets. The Nuggets completely rely on Jokic. If Jokic ain't on the floor, the Nuggets is just a average team at best. OKC is like that too. They're average and a young team, so less experience. Playoffs ends up being a different kind of basketball a lot of times than the regular season, and it all depends on that one hinge pin, which is SGA. If Shea is not, if they shut him down some type of way, he have an off game, he get injured, that team gonna fall apart. The Mavericks, on the other hand, if you try to stop Luka, well, we got Kyrie. You try to stop Kyrie, Clay could still. I ain't gonna say he'll do it every single game, but he could still put up 40 in 3 quarters or something like that with like 2 dribbles. You know what I mean? I don't know if he's still that good, but you never know. He might pull out some vintage Clay and put up 40 points with like a dribble and a half, and you know what I'm saying, in like 3 quarters, and like don't even play the fourth quarter. Like they Clay, I think he still got a little bit of that, and he's motivated because he just got traded from the team that we thought he was gonna be a brother for life, a splash brother for life. He gets traded.
He didn't get traded. He really left. He left because he didn't like their deal.
Yeah. You're right, but yeah, that's true. They wasn't offering him. He felt disrespected.
He wasn't worth much.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that.
No, what he was.
But now he gonna try to prove what he's worth, and be a splash, bro.
All I'm gonna say is that people better hope to not see Curry and the Warriors in the finals, because if they get in the finals, they're gonna take it home.
I was gonna ask you that too. So do you think the Warriors got what it takes?
They're gonna make it. They're gonna make it through the play-in.
Okay, so you think they're gonna make it in?
Yeah.
I predicted that they won't.
I think they're gonna.
I predicted that they won't even make the play-in because they sitting outside the eighth seed. The West is so stacked. There's so many good teams.
I'm just going with pure optimism because I like Curry, but their team
Absolutely.
sucks and he needs help. I just figured this out recently that Draymond was 6'9". Like, y'all are running a full like guard rotation.
6'9"?
Yes.
I think he's shorter than that. I think he like 6'7".
I wouldn't be surprised.
6'7", something like that. Like Draymond is like Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman is like 6'7". You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he played power forward just because he's strong and he's aggressive defensively and going after rebounds. So he played power forward, but he ain't really that big, you know. So Draymond's kind of similar. It was fun having the battle with you with the Bulls and the Warriors. Now I will say this too. I was thinking of another series where we match up any LeBron team that you want to match up with versus Jordan and the Bulls. See like GOAT versus GOAT.
I got that.
Would you try that? Like either Miami or Cleveland or you could do LA too.
I try that.
I think that'd be a fun series to see, GOAT versus GOAT, who the best. And then there's some other fun ones we could do if we want to throw in like Shaq and Kobe Lakers, because I think they were an unstoppable duo. Might be the best duo of all time. You know what I mean? But all right, so Boston. Oh well, you said it could be between Boston and Cleveland, right? Do you think? Are you favoring Boston or are you favoring? Okay.
I don't see Cleveland beating Boston.
Yeah, I'm favoring Boston. Yeah, Cleveland looking good this year, but in the playoffs, I just don't think they'll beat Boston in a 7-game series. So I predict that Boston will make it back. This time around, maybe Jason Tatum wins the Finals MVP, but they gotta win. But I can kind of see whoever they face off against. I could see them winning, which would be back-to-back champions.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, Tatum might be the new face of the league. You know what I mean? But
he gonna get beat out this year, and that's gonna kill everything.
So you predicting whoever come out the West, they gonna beat Boston?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then, well, actually, should we kind of answer the third question? Because the third question was gonna be about Tatum and the Celtics or whatever. But
yeah.
Well, that's pretty much it. We still got a ways to go on this downloading, so I'm gonna kind of end the little mini pod here. Unless you got any other questions, any other NBA questions you want to talk about, topic or whatever. No.
Nah. Yeah, I'm not the biggest NBA head, so I don't really got much.
I did want to talk about the WNBA and the whole Caitlin Clark thing, but I'm gonna say that for another one because I want to do a little research before we talk about WNBA stuff. But we're gonna stop this one for now,
I
and
don't even
then
think their season's going on right now.
no, I think they in off season, but anyway.